Hi everybody, we're back. We're back in Berlin, back on German soil, and it was nice to sleep in our beds and nice to kind of just like, it was really nice to throw in dirty laundry into the washing machine. That was like the first thing I did last night when I came home. So we got pushed up an hour. So we landed at 9 and didn't get home till like 10 o'clock, something like that at night. So the kids basically just came home, put on pajamas, washed hands, brushed teeth, washed faces, and went to bed. And to be honest, after starting a load of laundry, I did the same. I just came and went right to bed. I was just really quite tired. I feel like I haven't really been able to recap a little bit from the trip because it's felt very busy just with a lot going on. That was our first time back in the UK, and I know that I said over and over and over again just how, you know, we're back in Greenwich for the first time in 3 years, and it was such a strange feeling to be back in the UK, to be back walking around Sainsbury's and M&S and like buying things that I would have bought 3 years ago. It just, Roma and I we were checking in with each other quite a bit throughout the trip because it really kind of blew our minds how familiar everything felt. And even things like navigating the tube and navigating the underground and just navigating the trains, and oh, we got to get to we have to take the Southeastern service to Greenwich from London Bridge, and we got to take the Thames Link. Like it all felt very familiar. And there was a moment where like when we were topping up Oyster cards, I was like, I felt kind of blurry. Like I felt like, oh, I don't actually know what to do. It's been so long since I've topped up an Oyster card. But then it just felt like it's like my brain shifted and suddenly I was no longer using German brain. I was using like British brain, and it was great. I mean, it was really, really, really easy. Our friends picked us up from the airport. We already planned ahead of time with them that they would pick us up from the airport. We would stay in their new home with them for a couple of days, and then what happened was during the pandemic they moved outside of the city into the country. This beautiful, beautiful house with a beautiful garden. It's just incredible, and I'm really, really happy for them, but it means that they're no longer in Greenwich. So we planned ahead of time that we would stay with them and just kind of have some chill days with them, and then go into the city and stay in Greenwich and just have a little bit of time together there as well. So it was really quite incredible just to have this time with them. We all hugged and embraced one another as if no time had passed, and it made me realize just how they are indeed family to us, because it was like seeing family. The same excitement that we felt seeing my mother-in-law and seeing people, seeing my mom for the first time after the separation of COVID, and seeing my dad and my stepmom, it was the exact same feeling, and they are indeed, they're family to us. Our friends are Elliot's godparents. It was really special to me that, especially for him, never having the connection to London the way Callum and Linnea do. And he's only known life in Germany, you know, he was born here, and it was crazy to know that there's this whole lifetime before he arrived that they knew, that they remembered from us. And so they were getting to know us as a family of 5. Introducing Elliot to them was amazing because they are, like I said, Elliot's godparents. So he will forever have that connection to them, to the UK. It was really cool too because like I saw on different things, like walking by different streets, oh, Elliot Place, and like his name I just saw everywhere. I just saw his name everywhere, and it's like, it really kind of made me wonder, was I thinking about this back when we were living in London? Like, did I happen to see the name and think subconsciously, oh, I love that name, that's what I want to name a child? When I was pregnant with Elliot, I had a dream that I had a baby boy named Elliot, and that's how he got his name. But it was so amazing to me to see his name everywhere, and I really wanted him to have that London connection, and he does. I mean, he's got it in his name, his godparents. It's really special to me, and it was really special to be able to share him with his godparents and the kids, the older kids. Their son Callum and Linnea got together and played non-stop the whole time together and never got sick of one another. They were all just so patient and so wonderful with each other, and I've never seen that in Callum and Linnea's relationships here in Berlin. I've never seen that, and I think, again, it was just reiterating that they are family to us. The kids have been asking ever since we said goodbye when they'll get to see them again, and it was such good medicine for all of us. It was such good medicine for all of us. I was in tears when we embraced, when we hugged. I don't even know what I caught on the camera. I was in tears going to Costa for the first time, like Costa in the UK for the first time. I can safely say that when we moved, Roman and I did not anticipate it being 3 years for us to get back. When we booked this trip, Roman and I just said, come hell or high water, we're going, and we did. And being back was truly the best medicine for the both of us, for our souls, for our family. We all felt at home. We all felt at home. And that was such a good feeling for me, for the kids, for Roman. We were so happy just being back. The excitement that we all had, the little things of like just going to M&S and like getting these delicious chocolate twists that they make in the bakery there, and just like the little things, the sandwiches, the little fruit cups, like just the little things that we relied on, the little things that made us feel at home back when we lived there. That was the part that we were really missing. And I said in the vlog a million times, this is the first time back, you know, but it feels like home. It feels like home because it does. And there will always be a part of us that feels at home when we go back. London, I have more of a connection to London than I do visiting my family in Atlanta, which is the US. But it's because we lived there. I've raised kids there. We've gone to doctor's appointments there. And I never grew up in Atlanta, so like visiting family in Atlanta, I'm happy to visit the family, but I have no connection to Atlanta. So when we go back to the US, a lot of it is just visiting family, which is important. But when we go back to London, it's like going back home for us. We have memories outside of other people. We have memories as a core nucleus of a family. And that was really, really special to just get to go back and do that. And obviously we live here in Berlin. And Berlin's had cards stacked up against it. You know, it's up against really stiff competition because London was so special to us. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think we feel that same feeling of being at home here that we felt there. But I also know that there were just certain things that were non-negotiable for us. And it was very hard to get doctor's appointments, I found there. I just appreciate how quick and efficient and thorough the system here has been for the kids and for myself, and it just works better for our family here medically. And I also know that the kids are getting an education that's rooted in German, which they wouldn't have been able to have in England, obviously. So there are German schools, but it is really hard to get your child into them, and then you are dealing with a lot of expat kids that don't stay. So there's like a constant rotation of kids. As we're here, the kids just have more stability with their schools and their friends, and life is a bit more, it's a bit easier to plan long-term here than it ever was for us in London. And I know how much apartments and flats and things are in London, and we wouldn't have been able to live there comfortably, and it would have been really hard. I think if you asked us the question, where do you want to live? Our heads would say Germany every time, because the big things just work better here for us as a family. But if you asked our hearts would say London every time. The kids asked a number of times, when are we moving back? So it's not just me, we all felt that. And that is something also to take into consideration, that you've got to be where you're happiest. And It's a decision of what makes you feel happy. Because it also makes me feel really happy to know that things work well here, that it's sensible to live here. And that is a good feeling too. But London for us was just magic. It was magic, and going back, it was like feeling a little bit of that spark again. And I also know that you can't just go back and everything be the way it was. Obviously our friends moved. What I think it does mean is that we need to go back more often, that we need to do what we can do to keep that relationship between our kids, ourselves as adults, as a family, to keep that relationship with London alive, and to keep it very, very much so that the kids look forward to, that they can be a part of. It doesn't need to be 3 years before we return again, and it won't be. I hope that that's what the answer is, that we just need to go back. We need to go back and visit more often. And we only got to see one set of friends today, or over the weekend, but we have so many more friends that we need to see and do stuff with. So just being more conscientious of that and trying to plan things. It was very hard to plan stuff this time around because we just didn't know if this trip would even happen. Obviously we had flight cancellations that we had to work around, and there was a lot around this trip that made it very difficult to plan events with other people. And I also felt like I just didn't want to have too much. I knew the kids just really needed to go back. So I think next time we'll do a better job of being able to reconnect with more people and school friends and all that stuff, and just do more of that. But the trip was really special, super meaningful, super wonderful. It was so amazing to, like, we were walking through Greenwich Park and knowing in my mind, oh, that's where Linnea took her first steps, you know, here in this park, and now here's Elliot running there. And we rented boats here, and we did little paddle boats, and we did, gosh, how many hours have we played on the playground here, and walking up to the observatory. So we just did so much that just really, it was really good just to go home. And that's what it was for us, just a trip home, a trip back. As far as us now, we're back home and just trying to pay attention to things like COVID symptoms. We'll probably all test this afternoon. We are still scheduled to go tomorrow to Stuttgart and visit with Oma and spend the Easter weekend with her. So that will be nice. The kids are looking forward to that too. So it's good. There's a lot going on right now. Today is the day that I'm doing all the laundry, repacking suitcases, packing things that we need, and just, it's a busy day, but this is good. It's a good kind of busy.